Welcome to Not Like the Others, the podcast that invites you to lean into curiosity. I'm your host, Elle, and I believe that by sharing our messy and unusual stories, we can discover our shared humanity and find connection in a world that often feels increasingly disconnected. Join me and my guests as we explore our unique paths and share our experiences with adversity, mental health, relationships, parenting, spirituality, and more. Today is such an incredibly special episode to me. One of my longest loved friends, Bryce Gruber, is joining us. She's a mom of 5, a PR and consumer content guru, and probably the nexus of my universe. We'll be diving into the life-changing nature of our friendship, which started on Craigslist, the butterfly effect, and navigating a thriving career while raising 5 kids. This is our first time chatting live in probably 10 years. So this is incredibly special to me, and I'm just so grateful that you've made the time for me. Bryce,
I'm
welcome.
grateful that you made the time for me.
I mean, gosh, truly, it has been probably about a decade since we've talked live. We're always messaging on different platforms, but we haven't
Yeah.
actually called each other.
Seeing each other's faces live. Yeah. This is actually very exciting. And I think what we were talking about earlier, that like sometimes you get so wrapped up in life and having kids and like the minutia of all the BS
Yeah.
that like you don't get to see your friends' faces, even though you know they're your friends. Like if you needed a kidney, you could call me and I would be like, I've got this kidney. Just come pick it
And
up. Which hospital do we go to? But we might not see each other's faces for like stretches of actual years or a decade. But we could text message and say happy birthday and also, do you need this kidney?
yeah. And also, by the way, like really plug into the same track of like memes and viral TikToks. I feel so seen by you when you send me very specific content on TikTok.
I know. And they're all like weird animals doing absurd and cute things. And I want to tell you that, you can tell from other friends like what they're willing to accept, like if they want to receive jokey stuff or whatever. But you are kind of down for all the weird shit popping around in my brain that obviously the algorithm understands. And I really appreciate that because there's some stuff that I can only send to you that like doesn't make sense to send to my niece or some of my cousins or college friends or whatever, because they would be like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Honestly, I'm just here to discover all possible corners of TikTok because I find it to be such an interesting exploration of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
Like,
people with the laser beams that just dance on live, I can't get enough of them.
or the thing that has been really popping up on my TikTok a lot, which I don't know what it says about me, are the handwriting live sessions where people just go on live and write people's names in their handwriting.
You're just watching like strange names. It'll be like Justin,
That's it.
Carlos,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
like people you don't know.
And I'm like, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? People, and then there's like hundreds
And they're
of people
never even
watching.
writing L. They're just writing
No,
like
never.
every other name out there.
I don't linger, but I just, for some reason, it just keeps popping on my live. My favorite live, though, which you know, is our favorite pig. We get to watch her go to sleep every night.
I love that pig. Do you know, after you sent me that snuggly pig, I tried sending it to like 3 other people who I thought would find the pig charming. One was my niece. One was one of my kids, my oldest. And then I don't know who else I sent it to. Someone I used to work with, I think. And nobody else gave a damn. Nobody cared. And I was like, how are you not caring? What about this is not noteworthy for you? There is a pig being snuggled up in like a fleece blanket and pajamas in a house. And it's not like a mini pig. It's a full fat, I don't know, like 400-pound pig sleeping like on the floor of someo's bed.
And it has its choice of like 18 blankets also.
Oh
like
God.
she goes like they anyway, yeah.
And don't you just wonder, because she never covers it. She never discusses it in the lives. Like, Do you think that people in her town, do you think it's a small town? It has to be a small town. She can't live in like Brooklyn or something with that pig. So she has to
You would
live in
be
like,
surprised though, because I have heard of instances where the ASPCA has recovered like tigers from apartments in the Bronx. So anything's possible. They could very well, in fact, be in New
do you think
York.
this pig is in Hoboken?
It's quite possible.
I don't know. But like, say she is in a small town. Possible. There's a good chance. And everybody knows everyone and they know she's Susan with the pig. I don't remember her name. I don't know. So I hope nobody is like searching Susan with a pig, but you get the point. And
Yeah.
she walks into her local Walmart, Target, Dollar General, whatever is in the small town. And she's just there for more blankets. Does the lady at the register recognize, like, these are for the pig?
I think that's an incredible point of view to wonder about. I really, I really had
Like,
no
it's the
idea you
whole
were taking it
community.
there.
Do you know what I mean? And like, does she
I
make
do,
so
yeah.
much money from TikTok that people, like, when she goes places, people are like, oh my God, nice to meet you. What line of work do you do? And she's like, oh, I make pig content.
I'm a pig influencer. That's how I make my living. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but honestly, that's kind of the dream for me. I am working towards having a ranch with animals, like all kinds of animals, pigs, donkeys, definitely. Oh my God, the baby donkey content on TikTok lately has been good.
There's a place like only not that far from here. They raise those teeny tiny mini horses. I don't know what they're called. They're like babies. You can like put them in your pocket. Like dogs are bigger than them.
Wow,
And you
that's
can just
wild.
drive by. Yeah. And there's just loads of teeny tiny horses just running around their field. I have no idea if it's profitable. I have no idea if they like make enough money or if they have to have regular jobs in addition to selling and breeding their teeny tiny horses. But it looks downright magical.
Yeah. I think my dream is I would want it to be a therapy ranch. I would want people to be able to come, like kids who are in the foster system, people who want to come on a retreat, learn how to garden, have a nice flower garden. I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure in like 15 years when I'm shoveling cow shit, I'll be like, whose idea was this? But at the same time, I don't know. The thought of just being around animals all the time and not being in front of my screen for the rest of my
It's
life
appealing.
making my yeah. I just really need that. So,
I feel you. I had 6
um
chickens and they were like therapy chickens.
oh, I love
I know
that.
that's like a weird thing to say, but they would lay down and let me pet them. They asked to be picked up sometimes. They would like do this like circling around. Like if you came out with like an ear of corn, it's basically a candy bar for a chicken, you know? They
Really?
would just ask. Yeah.
I
If
love
any
it.
of your friends or neighbors have chickens, just an ear of corn, nothing will make them happier.
Wow. I never knew that. I have a lot to learn before I get my ranch. So,
About chicken snacks.
yeah. So one of my very favorite things about our friendship is how we met and that we've been friends since I was 17 and fresh off the plane from Florida to New York City. It was 2006. Oh, let me set the scene. It was 2006 and I wanted to be a model. And so I went on Craigslist.
You were so pretty. It it made sense. But you
Thank you,
like
Bryce.
you're still so pretty. But let me set the
Thank you.
scene. You were like a string bean of a human walking around New York City. Now, in retrospect, being like an old lady, now I can recognize that you being 17, walking around New York City alone as a string bean, like, thank God you're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I think about that actually quite often.
Yeah, you were just like a beautiful string bean walking around a big, dangerous city, all casual, meeting people on Craigslist. And like, thank God, I guess it was me on Craigslist. And I was just like, yeah, you're a beautiful string bean. Let's be friends. You know?
So, well, you had a jewelry line at the time and you were looking for a
Yeah.
jewelry model for this singles mixer at a bar. that also, by the way, ended up being kind of the nexus of my New York City universe. And I
But I don't
remember,
think I knew you were that age when I was like, listen, come. And
no,
you came with your friend who was your roommate, who I think
yeah,
was also like 18 or something. And you guys came in and
dude.
you were like so sweet and so cute and like just such nice people. But I was like, are you allowed to be at a bar? And you were like, yeah, yeah, no problem. I'm here modeling. And I was like, oh, okay.
I remember I was like, how do I know you're not a creepy guy when we were emailing each other? And you're like, I don't know. I'm 21 and I am from Florida too. And I'm just a girl making jewelry. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll see you there. And
Yeah. And you
we,
just believed me, which thank God I was telling the truth. But like,
yeah,
what if
no
I was
kidding.
a creep?
I mean, at least we were meeting in a public place. But anyway, like, at what point when we met did we decide to be friends? I actually don't remember this
I
very
do.
well.
I'll tell you. And this is going to sound terrible, but like also when you're really young, like you were obviously younger than me, but I was 21. And I think when you're just like young in general, you have a sense of like what feels good and what doesn't feel good, but you don't really, or I didn't have immense emotional and mental clarity to sort of itemize the list of what felt right and what didn't feel right. And I was in a relationship at that point that didn't feel right. Now, it was not some god awful, like make a movie about it and call the police kind of terrible. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It just was not
thankfully.
the right relationship for me. It was not it. And I felt like he drained my energy and I really wanted to do all this stuff. And I don't know. I was at an age where I really wanted to have a bunch of friends and he was just everywhere all the time. And I like could not have any like independence. And he was not terrible to me at all, but like it just he was like a major clinger and like everything I did, he like sucked the energy out of me. And you walked in the room and you are not like that. You are the opposite of that. You're like, give everyone their space. I'll add energy to the room. And I was like, this is such a nice person. And I remember the night that you walked in, he was like attached to me. And I was like, okay, you're so great. Stop touching me. You know? And then you
Yeah.
were there and you were just like breath of fresh air. And I was like, it's not going to annoy him or bother him if I like, run off with some other girl and hang out. We're just chit chatting. And you also had your roommate there, and she was also a lovely girl, like really nice person. And I don't know, I think we just sort of like hung
Click.
out. And I remember
Yeah.
leaving that place. And I was like, do you know where you're going? I don't know if you remember walking out of there, but it was Soho and there were cobblestones, or maybe it was NoHo, but it was very downtown. And there were
Yeah.
all these cobblestones, and you were kind of wobbling on the streets because I think you
Yeah, I'm
wore
sure I
heels.
was.
And I was like, are you okay? And I remember sort of helping you get to, I think you took the train.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
that tracks. That tracks.
yeah. Anyway, you were just like so nice. And yeah, that's
And
what I
then
remember.
and then that just kicked off our friendship of we did a lot of partying. I will say that. You were
Yeah.
in PR and you had your own blog. Bear in mind, this was like 2007 and 2008 times when, yeah,
It
like
was like the rise of the blog, that
it was
era.
the
That was
rise of
like
the
a
blog.
big,
Yeah, I don't know how else to
yeah.
say it. Yeah. And there were just so many opportunities for us to be out and about together. And I do remember, things changed. Obviously, you eventually left that relationship, but I think really our friendship started to solidify, peak. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but like
When
2000.
you like had a crush on his friend.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what it was.
2008. I was just gonna say it was Fashion Week. It was a fashion week party. I met said friend at the door. He was working the door. And I remember I was with my best friend Daniel, who you obviously know,
Yeah,
who
he
was
was
just
so
like this
cute.
tiny little gay man. And he was like, "Who's that guy?" And I was like, "I don't know. Who's that guy?" And we ended up clicking, and he took us. This is kind of the beginning of the butterfly effect. So he afterwards was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this party with me? I'm going to an after party, another election week party." And I was like, yes. And so we did. And that's where we
And
met.
so we did.
And yeah, fear was not in my toolkit in New
No, but
York.
thank God he was like a gentle soul of a guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really not going to
truly.
hurt anything or anyone.
No, it was great. And that's how I started to meet my immediate circle of friends, like my community in New York. Up until that point, I felt a little bit disjointed, and hadn't really had like a group of friends. But it was that night that we met not only someone else who was a friend of his who he went to college with, who, by the way, I ended up introducing to his wife. So,
Oh
like,
my God.
already you're getting a full effect of the butterfly effect
No,
here.
I love it. My failed relationship led to successful relationships. So it was a
Yeah.
good, like, so it was
And
worth it in the
then
end.
I met I met another lifelong friend through him, the one, like the college friend of Matt. And then from there, actually, I was at one of Matt's shows and met two of my other friends, Chris and Katie, who were on their second date at the time. And they are the ones who introduced me to Jacob, my ex-husband, and the father of my son.
Wow.
And it was just
That's a
so
wild
many. Yeah, like
web.
if I had not met you, none of this would have happened. Like, period, full stop.
Do you know
So I
what? But
hope
can I be weird for a minute? And I don't know what you
I feel
believe
like we've set
or
the precedent for weird, so it's fine. Be as weird as you
yeah.
want.
I don't know what anyone else believes. Like if anyone listens to this and is going to be like, "Oh, that lady's crazy." Probably. I strongly believe that certain people you have like some level of like soul or karmic connection with and you're supposed to cross paths and you're supposed to for whatever reason. You also like it wasn't meeting new people through you, but you supported me through some of the roughest and hardest days of my life, like single motherhood in the beginning. And, the list is a mile long of ways that I needed you in ways I didn't understand that
Yeah,
I needed you. So all I know is I feel like
I'm getting chills.
one way or another, even if we were not both originally from Florida, even if we had grown up in Tibet, we would have crossed paths at
Yeah,
some point.
I believe that too. And I think it's so every time I think of you, B, like when and anytime I see that trend on TikTok when people are like, what do you mean the butterfly effect isn't real? Because blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I literally can't even do that because the list is so long with you of all of how meeting you changed my life. And I think I just felt so grateful to even be able to show up for you. And as things started to kind of turn into a new chapter for you when you became a young mother, which was, I think, also a way for our friendship to level up because I was just so excited to be able to give to you and support you. And I also really
And
could
you
not
were
have imagined.
amazing. You were so amazing. There's amazing and then there's whatever you were, which is way above that level. You know? And I did not understand. Like I think sometimes when I do something, I'm like, whatever, I'll just do it.
Yeah,
I'm not a deep thinker about how I'm gonna get it done. I'll just do it. And
we'll
then
figure it out.
sometimes I'm in the middle of it and I'm like, how the hell am I doing this? And then there are these really rough moments where you're like, how the hell am I doing this? And you somehow were like spackle on walls that had holes. And I was like, I didn't know these walls had holes. And you were like, here I am, I'm spackle. And you were just fixing everything right up.
Oh, B. I'm really grateful that you shared that because I feel like you're right. In those days, especially when you're so young, I was just like, I'm just going
I
to my
feel like,
friend's
just
house.
to be clear, I was 24. Like it was New York young. It wasn't rest of the world
Oh,
young.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
24,
Yeah, no.
like if you're anywhere else in the country, like at 24, all of my friends in Florida were on like kid number 3. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
same. But also
in New
I think
York, everybody was like, oh my God, a teen pregnancy. And I was like, no, I'm 24. Like,
Wait, that's so funny you say that because when I got married at 25, people were like, "That's a teen marriage. You're a child bride. What are you doing? Are you okay? Don't
Yeah, like
fight."
by New York standards, and like for anyone who's not in New York, I think they will be confused. But like, I just want to like set up the parameters. I don't know where anyone else is, what the regular ages are for all of these milestones. But in New York, getting married before 30 is concerning for the culture.
Yeah.
And a child before 32 or 33 is also like, why are you doing it? Did you have to give up your eggs or something? Like,
Yeah.
like, are you having a life threatening health moment and it's now or never? Otherwise, why would you do this?
Yeah. I know. But it did feel, yeah, you're right. It felt young at the time, even though I had just moments before left Florida, where, yeah, the norm was certainly much younger.
Yeah, half your
Um,
senior class was already like working on a kid.
Pregnant.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I told my friends in Florida, I was like, "Oh, I'm having a baby." And they were like, "That's cool." And like, "No, okay, you know?" But like
Yeah.
everyone in New York was like, "What are we going to do? What
Yeah.
are we going to do? This poor woman needs an intervention." And I was like,
Well, okay. This is a great segue, actually, because from there, so obviously you had this young, we'll call it young pregnancy, but you were pregnant at 25. You were a single mother. And I
I was
remember you,
24.
oh, 24.
I
Yeah.
had Benny at 24. Yeah, that's what I'm
For
saying. New
23,
York
not
teen
24. Yeah.
pregnancy.
I know. And I remember just being like, I'm just going to go hang out with my friend. I just wanted to keep you guys company, help you however I could, hang out with Benny, give you a break where you could have it.
Yeah, and you
And
would come down to the seaport, which, by the way, for people who are unfamiliar with New York, the seaport now is great, is a beautiful, magical place. Then it was much cheaper than everywhere else in the city because nobody wanted to live there. Literally
yeah,
nobody. Nobody was like, "Oh, I'm going to live by the seaport." Literally nobody. And I had this magical, phenomenal apartment because the price of that apartment, which was beautiful, and I knew I was going to be like at home all the time because I was someone's mom and didn't have a partner. The price of that apartment was the price of a one bedroom in Brooklyn Heights, or you know what I mean? I was like, why
yeah,
would I live in any of these cool neighborhoods when I could just have like a really cool apartment? Because I will never leave it anyway.
yeah. It was haunted also.
Was it haunted? I believe it.
I
I'm
think
sure it
you told
was.
me it was haunted, that you would hear footsteps upstairs in Benny's
Oh,
room.
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, and the building was built in like 1805. It's like one
Isn't
of the
it really old?
original.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still has like those like ship hole, whatever. Someone
I
will
remember
correct
that,
us. I'm
the
sure there's like ship
port
windows.
portholes or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
porthole. I was like ship hole window. Whatever. I'm a real sailor.
Yeah. Obviously, it changed you living in that apartment.
Yeah. Look at me now. I'm scuba
Um,
diving after this.
but then you had more kids. You met Yosef, your current
Yeah.
husband. I say like current, meaning like he is the father of your children. You went on to build a
That's my
family.
favorite TikTok trend, by the way. Like all those girls who are like, I'm here with my current boyfriend. I think that's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I know people aren't doing it as much anymore, but I hope it never fully dies because I am
Nice.
endlessly entertained. I will watch all of them.
Yeah. I think they're pretty funny too. But you continued to have children. You now have 5 children, and you raised them partially in New York City before you moved upstate.
Yeah, all of them were born there. All of them. The youngest was only there for a year and like a year and change. But yeah, I don't know. I realized after having Benny that I really love babies. I like love babies. I love strangers' babies. I love friends' babies. I love babies. I
Yeah.
think babies are so cute. Like babies, puppies, whatever. If you are a baby creature of any kind, I'm into it. And I was not necessarily good at pregnancy. I was good at getting pregnant. The being pregnant was complicated. Like you remember, I would just
Yeah.
vomit on everything. I had
You had a
HG
lot of
for all of
complicated.
them. The last one was a whole horror show of a pregnancy, but I just loved babies so much that I was like, I got to keep doing this. And I would have had even more babies, but the universe cut me off of
Yeah.
babies after the last one.
But
It
so,
was complicated in New York City
well, I was
with
just going to
after
say,
the third one.
I can't even imagine. I'm a mom of one, and I can't imagine how much. For anybody who has not lived in New York City, everything is a production. Going grocery shopping is a production. Parking
Yeah.
your car is a production. Going to the doctor is a production.
No,
Everything takes so
really,
much time.
after the third kid, it becomes like really you have to calculate everything. The first one I think is great because when they're really young, you can strap them to your chest and they just go with you everywhere.
Yeah,
Like baby in Trader Joe's, baby in Dwayne Reed, babies everywhere. If you have two, they have those double strollers, no problem. You got this. It's bulky, it's awkward, but you can go.
yeah,
Third one, God willing, the first one is old enough to like be walking alongside you or on the little like skateboard behind the stroller thing. No
yeah,
problem. But once you get to the fourth one, it's like there's like rocket science involved. I physically could not have done four as a single mom. Like even if money was no object and I could have nannies and whatever, I just physically couldn't have done it because you cannot
yeah,
go anywhere with four kids by yourself ever in New
yeah,
York City.
yeah. How, and then simultaneously while building your career, you continued to thrive in your career.
Yeah, but I didn't
And
really want to. I just had to because they had to eat. Like I'm
I don't care. I'm there, I'm there
I am an
now.
aspiring, it'll never pan out for me. I know this, but like, wow, people are going to come for me for saying this, but like I have a few Russian friends and they don't work. Okay, they're women. They don't
Yeah,
work and they're always like, no, it's not part of us. We know like we live within the means that our husbands can provide for because culturally we don't want to work and we shouldn't have to work. And one of them went to law school. One of them is an actual pharmacist. Like these are super educated women and they have opted out of working. So for the past year, I keep telling Yosef, I want to be a Russian wife. And he's like, you're not Russian. And I'm like, but I'm learning. I will read Cyrillic. I will take a course. I love language courses. I will do Duolingo. And he's like, but you're not Russian. And I'm like,
You're really
I'm
hung up
open
on
to
the details,
trying.
Joseph.
Yeah, like we'll do borscht. I don't care. Like,
What can I do to be a stay-at-home mom
yeah,
and
I
not
don't
have
even
to
want to like
juggle?
do all of that. I just want to be the stay-at-home part.
Yeah.
Like, I still like I would my ideal is like I get to do the stuff with the kids, but like I don't do any dishes and I'm not just like pre-treating everybody's stains. You
They
know, that's all
they're
I
also old
do.
enough that you can, like, really hold them accountable to doing that themselves, right? Like,
Can
you have
I?
a whole team of dishwashers available to you now.
Do I? Tell that to my sink. No, like whatever you, yeah, they'll do it, but like, is it worth the 1 hour of like hostage negotiations to
Yeah,
get them to do it?
the
Like, what do I
negotiate.
get out of it? Can I have more time on my phone?
Yeah.
Well, he did four less forks than I did. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, never mind. I'll just wash all the shit myself. I will do everybody's laundry. I will magic eraser all the walls. Like, I don't care. Just
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I have one child and negotiations are exhausting. He's 5, and my go-to line lately is just, "This is not a negotiation. Here are your options. You either do it or you don't, and if you don't, this is the consequence. I'm done."
yeah. No, 5 is like simultaneously one of the most beautiful ages because they're so cute and cuddly and still like
So cute.
babyish.
Yes.
But on the other hand, they have these like fully operational brains that are like, no, I would like to opt out of whatever my parent is telling me to do. And they
Yeah.
will try and opt out of all the shit, like putting on underwear. And you're like, no, you can't opt out of underwear. You have school
Just had this
today.
conversation. Just had this conversation 2 days ago. He was like, "I'm not wearing underwear. I'm just gonna put my shorts on." And I was like, "Why?"
Yeah. That kid is outside behind me right now. He's 8. They don't even grow out of it. I don't even know if
I'm
he is wearing underwear in the end. Like,
Or like lately he's not, he's like, "I don't want socks." And then he'll complain about blisters. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's what happens. This is a lesson in uh
it is.
consequences." Like, I don't know,
You have
but
blistered.
Yeah, you got blisters on your feet because that's what happens. Um, but how do you have enough time in the day? And how do you also, real talk, manage finding time for yourself and
There's no
taking care
time
of
for
yourself?
myself. That's a lie. I think people who say, I don't know. There are people like I follow a bunch of people on TikTok who are like, it's all about the balance. You got to make time for yourself. And I think if you do that, and I love that for anyone who's doing it, because I just told you, I want to be a Russian wife. Like I'm trying to be that woman. I am
Yeah.
not that woman. I think you either have a tremendous amount of help, and that's not like necessarily hired staff. I think there's also a beauty to some people have the benefit of parents who live in like the same neighborhood or same city and are incredibly supportive. And if you have one or two kids and you have two sets of grandparents and they're both very hands on, you have extra hours in the week.
Yeah.
Like you can organize your closet the way you'd like, and then maybe go to the gym for a while or do a Reiki session. I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
it is someone's into. But um, I have one grandparent living near us, and he's old, and I love him more than anything. I would do anything for this grandfather. He's so amazing, but I can't ask more of him. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
stocking his fridge with stuff because it's a pain in the ass for him to try and look at the parking spot lines in the grocery store parking lot, you
Yeah.
know?
He's not taking 5 kids to like the museum on a Saturday.
No, but like every now and then, if I need a minute, I can drop two young ones there and to watch a movie. I've
Yeah.
got the movie set up for them. I have Netflix set up. I've brought all the snacks and I'm like, just take these two. The big three are old enough to stay home for the 2 hours. I can do that, but otherwise, no.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you bring up a really good point. My sister and I talk a lot about this too. Having a village, the concept of having a village when you're raising your family, or in our case, not really having a village built in from a family perspective anyway. My siblings live in different
Far
states.
away.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
far away. My mom lives far away. Um, I don't have a relationship with my dad. And I really had to, especially after my divorce, put a lot of time and energy and intention into building my village with people who were chosen family because
Yeah.
I don't i- it's isolating otherwise to go through it. And you're right, like there have been times where I've been in binds, like total binds, and I'm like, shoot, I I don't know that I can bring Nico to this thing that I committed to, that I really have to go to. And, I call a friend and I'm like, hey, can Nico come play for like an hour and a half? And she's like, yeah, girl. They luckily live down the street. I have another
Yeah.
friend who, right before I was laid off, I kind of got a heads up that we were running out of runway and I had to work like a lot longer in an effort to try and save it if we
Save
could.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was just like, drop Nico off. I've got him, A-
Thank
And
God.
those moments are like they're priceless. Like you know what I mean? Like to have somebody who can say, I can help you right now, and especially another mom who gets it and is just like, look, we are all just like getting by. Um, it's huge. And so I'm curious, like aside from your father-in-law, do you feel like you've been able to build a village around to help you? Like, do you have that?
Yeah, but it's only, you know what? When I really needed the village was when the kids were much younger.
Yeah.
So my big one is 16 and a half. He's taking driving lessons now, you know?
He's taller than you. It's
Yeah,
upsetting.
he's taller than me. He works at a restaurant 3 days a week. Like he's like a almost your age when you moved to New York, you know? And I
Oh my
know.
God, Bryce.
And the next one, Rivka, she's turning 13 soon. She's a mother's helper for another family. Like she has like a little like part-time, like, and honestly, she's more mature than me. She's more mature than I've ever been. She has raised me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did to deserve that kid, or maybe I was like such a messed up soul that God was like, listen, I'm going to send you some help. this
Yeah.
soul is
I think you're
way
beautiful.
beyond yours. I appreciate that. But if you really knew her, you'd be like, Shh, you do not deserve her. You know, like the next one is exactly Yosef, and he's very smart and very street smart and very capable of doing things. He's like a little bouncing off the walls of energy, but he's fun. But I can trust him if he's with the big two. Everything's good. He's also almost 12 years old.
Yeah.
It's just the two little ones. And when they were all very young, I needed more of a village. I want to tell you, I met this woman when Rivka was a baby, and I don't remember where I was, but there were a bunch of women around, and Rivka was like 4 months old, and I was just with her, and I really had to pee. I like had to pee so bad. And I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to put this baby in the stroller? Am I like wheeling this? I had this like big ass stroller. Am I like
Yeah.
bringing the whole thing into the bathroom, but like it didn't fit in the stall? And this woman, I remember her name was Rachel. She was like, do you want me to hold the baby? And I like, she also had like a 2 year old with her, and she like, whatever. She was nice. I said, that would really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will be back in 2 minutes. I just have to pee so bad. 2 minutes later, I get back and Rivka's like crying a little. And she goes, do you want me to feed her? And I was like, oh, she's not bottle fed. And then she was like, no, do you want me to feed her? And I was
Wow.
like, from your boob?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I'm still breastfeeding. And she like showed me the 2 year old. She's like, I still breastfeed him. I've been breastfeeding. She like, I guess it was her second or third kid. She's like, I've been breastfeeding for the last 6 years. Don't worry. And I was like, and she could tell that I was really feeling very awkward because the American female in me is don't be rude, you know? But on the
Yeah.
other hand, I'm like, I don't know your boobs or your milk or what. No, thank you. You know,
Yeah.
like, sorry, my baby has only had these boobs. And she was like, listen, I'm not trying to be weird. I know I'm a little bit hippy dippy, but I grew up in a community. She grew up in a closed community somewhere. And I don't remember where she said, I feel like it was Belgium or something,
Yeah.
where everybody, it was commune style. It wasn't like they all had to chip in their monetary resources or whatever, but all the women kind of pooled the babies together. So everybody's work schedule worked out. There were no nannies, there was no daycare, whatever. It was like two women would watch 7 or 8 babies on any
Yeah.
given day. So the other women could go work or do whatever they needed to do. And she explained this to me. And then I realized, wow, this is just a very nice person who's offering her boob to my baby, whose name she doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me because I don't think I necessarily want strange boobs in my baby's mouths per se.
Right.
But I do love the idea of a world where there's a village for every mother, even if she doesn't have her parents or her siblings or her cousins or her best friends like on the same block. You know,
Agreed.
I think,
Well, and there's also something really beautiful about that story that she shared with you because in America, we obviously pay for childcare. But just imagine knowing that your kids are with your friends, your people, and that you're
yeah.
not having to necessarily pay some rando at a daycare that's run by someone you have no relationship with. Like the idea is that your resources is people's time, but it's a common investment into the community versus like, oh, I have to set aside dollars for daycare. It's like, no, we're all helping to raise these kids in
You
our
know,
tight community.
I genuinely hate everybody's politics with a gusto. I can't think of
Yeah.
anyone's politics who I like.
Yeah.
But one thing that I do think is very appealing is the idea of giving women in general 6 months with their babies. And I don't think that's a right, left, or center thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's just a you
Humanity
give
thing.
yeah, you give the babies the opportunities to bond with their mothers or caregivers, whatever, like whoever their parent is, in a healthy physiological way, which I think has a lot of mental ramifications down the road. And like after I had Benny in the office with me at like he
Yep.
was 2 weeks old. I was there. You were there. You were
Yeah.
sitting there with me. You were like, look at this 2 week old at the office.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot of benefit for everybody involved for that first 6 months till a baby can like eat some applesauce or avocado
Yeah.
or like whatever it is you're starting that baby on. But also, I think there has to be something. I think all the politicians sort of talk about daycare and like, cool, whatever. But I think in reality, most parents don't love the idea of daycare. I think there has to
Agree.
be something where, on a local level, state and county and city, something is done. Like maybe the federal government provides the funds, I don't know, for the county level to be able to set up these sort of neighborhood baby watching system. So a neighborhood association could set aside money for two ladies from the neighborhood or two guys, I don't care who it is, whatever, like two humans who are
Yeah.
qualified,
And
who want to do
trustworthy.
this
Yeah.
work. Yeah. Who can do, even if it's only from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., whatever, then mom can go to work for half the day. Or like, you just open up like a world of opportunities and then maybe you can pay for more after that. But if mom and baby are feeling physiologically like all is right with the world, but
Yeah.
also you're keeping things local and safe and not, because some of these daycare centers are gross
They're gross.
and
Yeah.
you don't know who the people are. And sometimes the people are amazing, but sometimes you hear and see horrible things.
We had
And
a
I think
situation. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go.
I was just going to say we had a situation at Nico's, my son's daycare. And it was not with Nico, but it was with another instructor who just say and do the weirdest and most inappropriate things. And meanwhile, the woman who was the main teacher of Nico's class, who he had actually been with on and off over the course of 2 years, had
Yeah.
cultivated this like really beautiful dynamic in her
Environment.
classroom. And her daughter was even in class, and Nico ended up being her bestie. So now she's one of my close friends too. She is part of our community, regardless of the fact that we left that daycare, and she did too. Uh, but a bunch of families in our community started pulling their kids out, took them to a different Montessori school that ended up having multiple sex abuse cases, unfortunately, including someone that we knew. And it was this school that, was very prominent in the community. It was connected to this one church that was very prominent. Anyway, long story short, it turned out that there was this investigative, journalistic report that had been published a few years ago about it, how it was like a prolific um, sex abuse case.
That's so
And
scary.
it is so scary. And so the ramifications of that were that people in our community pulled their kids out of there as well, and then just kept their kids at home.
Yeah.
And
If you don't
that
have good options, you're not doing it.
exactly. But I think that that's a testament to, I'm sure people will hear this and think, "Oh, that's a rarity." It's frankly not. That's for a different episode, but um
I
I
think
think that
every community has like some version of, and it doesn't have to be sexual abuse. It could be just physical abuse, like people who have no patience for like a dozen 2-year olds at a time.
exactly. And that was the
Or
case,
it could
the
just be the
emotional.
filthy conditions. Like a lot of
Yeah.
these places, like the people are very nice, but like hygiene is just as important. You have like hand, foot, and mouth disease running around like
Yeah.
crazy for babies.
100%. And also like the emotional stuff. Like that was the issue we ran into at the original daycare, was the kind of the para would curse out the main teacher and would like make kids feel guilty if they ran to their parents without saying bye to her. Like it was just so wild. And I was like, what are you doing
Something
here?
was really off. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that that really kicked off this. The reason why I bring it all up is it did kick off this leaning into our immediate community then. Like our friends
Yeah.
who kept their kids home, finding ways to help keep each other's kids busy, finding play dates, helping each other that way. And then with with Nico's old teacher this summer, because she ended up transferring into the public school system. And so she had the summer off. And so we all agreed, we're like, great, when you're back from your vacation, if you want, like you can make some extra money while also having literally your kids' best friends over. So we all paid her because we were just like, well, yeah, you get to make extra money. Our kids all get to play together. Like you're our friend and they're besties. And it's like a win all around because some of us can't get our shit together and find camps in time,
You know what's really interesting? Where I live now, and that ship has sailed for me because my kids are all beyond that age. But a lot of the families do these community nanny shares where it'll be like four kids, roughly the same age. And from what I understand, the nanny is getting roughly $1,000 a week. But for
Wow.
each of the families, it's 250 a week. And they
Hmm.
switch off whose house they go to. And they do like these 2-day increments. So 2 days at this one's house, 2 days at this one's house. Then you do Friday and Monday at like the next one's house. And they keep rotating the schedule. So it's not only one house is just being used and like trashed from 3-year-olds all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's really kind of genius because 250 a week beats the prices of daycare anywhere. And
Yeah.
then, you just have, first of all, if your kid is sick with something, they all have the same thing. That
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's it. That is your friend's
Yeah.
pod. And they're socializing. It's not like they're alone and like, and they're all like within 6 or 7 months of each other. They're all in kind of the same neighborhood. They all live probably within like, I would say about a mile and a half of each other. And not 2 out of 4 of the families were not necessarily close friends before, but they got kind of close. How
Yeah.
can you not? You've got the kid in your house almost every week. The parents are coming there,
I
and it's
love that.
great. And for each of the families, they get the peace and comfort of they know the kid is there or they know whose house and they pack up their little lunches and their snack boxes. And
I think we should have more of this. I do. I think they call them micro schools here in Denver. It's a similar concept. It's still commercialized though, but I think that I have another friend who's kind of thinking about this too for her kiddo. Um, but when they get to be like of a learning age, kind of continuing that model
instead of school, like instead of regular
instead
school,
of like, from what I understand, replacing early childhood education,
like
like
instead of being in a
commercialized
4 or 5 program. Got it.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's micro schools for older than that, but I mean, that's a whole other discussion is how do you standardize the education portion of it?
Yeah. I
How do you
think
get
it's
to
also
decide what's
so
taught?
different for every kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know. My kids would eat me alive. And the boys, especially, the boys are super social creatures. Like they have to be kicking a ball and having 7 other boys acknowledge that they kicked the ball, you know?
Yeah.
And my daughters could probably thrive in a group of 5 or 6 other people and that be it. But I don't know if that would be healthy for them.
Same.
Like I think it's good to meet. I don't know. What the hell do I
Diversify.
know? I'm nobody's psychologist, but I told you the kid is racing me. I don't.
Yeah, but you know what? I appreciate this conversation entirely because it's also a testament to moms do know their kids the best. If moms were more involved in planning and building a capitalist society, I think it would run a hell of a lot better. And we would have things like, small communities of care, of childcare versus sending your kid off to like corporation running a daycare, like a
I think we have to
Primrose
just
or
incentivize that stuff. Like I don't know how you incentivize it properly. I think there are ways. I think whether it's state tax breaks, like you get a major break on your tax if your kid is enrolled in, I don't know, your city has to like sign off on a piece of paper saying you are a friendship pod, whatever, you know what I
yeah,
mean? That you
yeah,
get a tax break or that like your city will set aside 4 hours of private room in the library just for your friendship pod each week or something. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't know what the answer is. But there has to be some
yeah,
incentive or whether it's buildings. Like these are buildings where you can have a room that the parents come to. You hire your own teacher, you bring your own lunches, you hire like teacher, nanny, whatever. Um but we'll give you the space because maybe, in a place like New York City, maybe it's too tiny to have 4 kids over plus a nanny and maybe dad works from home or whatever,
yeah, yeah. I know something has to give. I think resoundingly what I've been hearing from moms everywhere of any number of children and any state of career status is they're all at kind of a breaking point. You know, it feels like the way that we are living, the way that the system is built for being a mom, tending to our children in a way that we really want to, tending to ourselves in a way that's healthy, tending to our careers, our relationships, even whether that's a partner or husband or whatever. It's just like this load cannot be sustained the way that we need to in the system that we're in.
It's not the right thing. Listen, I have friends and family members who live in a different country where from 3 years old, you get like we have universal 4K in New York City.
Mhm.
In some other countries, it starts at 3. And for the first year of life, you get I don't remember what they call it, but you get like a baby credit that
Mhm.
anyone who has given birth or adopted a baby or any like even if you're a parent where you used a surrogate, like you bring home a baby, you are raising a
Yeah.
teeny tiny creature, you know, where you get the equivalent of I think $200 per week to help, which is not enough to pay all the bills. Like you
Right.
obviously need other money coming in. You either need someone else working or you have to have saved or you got to move in with your parents, but it helps pad the way. You get that first year and that's the whole first year. And then from 3 on, they have a program that goes from I think it's 8:30 in the morning till 3:20 in the afternoon or something,
Mhm.
which is again not enough for a full-time job, but that either gives enough time for like someone to come, one parent to come pick up, or a grandma to pick up, or an aunt, or someone. But I think that gives you really only 2 years of heavy duty struggle,
Yeah.
which no matter what, when you're parenting, you're going to struggle. You're going to do it even if you have the village. But the less struggling you do, the more likely you are to either have more children and keep your society going
Yeah.
and keep your economy going and all of these things. Or you just get the privilege of doing it with some level of joy other than full exhaustion. And I would
Yeah.
love to see that for more people to do it with joy. And like, I will not lie. I don't think I got to experience any of the joy till the last one. I
Yeah.
mean, I did. There was a lot of joy in like raising them and seeing all the cute moments and like, oh my God, they started walking. I don't think I knew how to slow down and say, fuck it. I don't care about any stuff. And it was only because it was my last time. And I knew I was never getting these moments again. And I didn't really have the freedom. I didn't have like so much more financial freedom. I didn't have so much more, I had less time freedom, but I only
Yeah.
did it because I knew I was shoved into a life corner where I was like, I'm not getting any moments like this ever again. So I'm going to fucking like it. And that's it.
Yeah. That's really powerful. I again, I only have one. So while we are both mothers, we are on such different ends of the spectrum in terms of even having to
I don't know.
navigate emotionally every person's personality and every person's needs, every child's like the mental gymnastics, the constant calculations you must be running in your brain of how do I enjoy and be present with my kids whenever I can or with each individual kid. Like I just don't know how you do it. My brain does not work that way
That's
because I
hard.
only have
I'm not
one.
gonna lie, I don't think I'm doing the best job at that, but I guess we'll see how much therapy everyone ends up needing in the end.
I think we all should get
They will
therapy.
tell me when we do family therapy. I
I
had
think
that
you're doing great.
conversation. Thank you. Sometimes Ben, because Benny is almost 17, so he'll be like really upfront with me. He'll be like, "Listen, I hate when you do this. This really was not good in my childhood." But then other times he'll turn to me, like he said to me the other day, and I'm telling you, I almost cried. He was like, "Mommy, you were really insane about bedtime when I was younger." And I was like prepared for him to be ripping into me, like, "Ah, you were like such a bedtime Nazi,"
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, he was like, I want to say thank you for that because I've been watching all these TikTok videos on how important sleep is for producing growth hormone. And now I'm 6'2". And I know it's because you made me go to bed kind of early as a kid. And I don't know if it's true or if that was just genetics because, like, whatever, it's a tall family. But
Yeah.
he, like, what? He was appreciative. He was like, thank you for making me go to bed at 8 o'clock.
You never know what's landing with your kids. Or maybe it's not landing now, but then down the road, they remember it. Even now, my 5-year-old, Nico will say things to me. I'm like, you remember that from 3 months ago, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the thing that resonated with you that feels exceptionally profound.
Yeah. And it'll always be something kind of silly. Like you made him a different style of sandwich. Like the day you
Yeah.
cut the crust off the bread, and he'll be like, that was the day I thought you were the best mom ever.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just didn't like the seeds on the bread. I thought you would choke on them. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's always something that like we don't give a lot of thought to. We're just doing it because like we know it's the right thing. And then we move on to whatever the next thing is. But for them, it's the stuff that counts. I just felt like 8 p.m. was a reasonable bedtime for a 7-year-old, you know?
Yeah, it is. I can hardly get my 5-year-old down by 8 p.m. And it takes a lot of effort as a parent to set firm routines. So one, you're killing it. You set a routine, your kid recognized it, he appreciates it now. The fact that you have raised 5 humans so beautifully, they're so beautiful. I have
Thank
not met all of them, but I can tell that they just have such bright, beautiful souls as you do.
thank you.
And as Yosef does.
I have to tell you, I feel like you would really vibe with number 4. You're very similar personalities. I'm
Really?
sorry you haven't met him. Yeah. You and number 4 would
Is he
just
a
like,
sad?
no, he's a Scorpio.
Oh, I
Like
do
he's
love a
just
Scorpio.
like, he's kind of low key, but like has really witty comments that just come out of nowhere. And he's always scanning the room and taking in all the information. And you are like that. Like, even when you're not really in a conversation, you're sort of just like looking around, taking in all the things and people and facts, and then like waiting for your moment. And
I
that's,
feel very seen. Thank you for saying that
yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying. The two of you would really get a kick out of each other. And you would both be like little comment ninjas where you'd be like, kind of laying back a little bit, but then you'd like whisper some witty,
oh
snarky
yeah.
stuff to each other.
But also people like us get slept on. Like we would for sure in another life have like a thriving at being private investigators.
Yeah.
Like because you're right. I it's actually I took this like one work assessment test. It's called Clifton Strengths. And it's one of
Interesting.
those, tests that just tells you all of your strengths as a
Strengths.
person and then how to integrate them into your work life or life in general. And my number one is input. That I am a collector of information. Like my brain just
Yeah.
sponges stuff and I don't even do it
No, you sit
consciously.
on it until it's time to use it. You
Yes.
sit on it for 7 or 10 years. I'm
Li-
sure, like, I don't know you in childhood. I didn't meet you till 17, but I'm sure you're still sitting on stuff from second grade. And like, it's going to come up at some point. It may not come up till you're 62,
Yeah,
but you're going to
truly.
have it.
It happens all the time when people tell me their stories, their life stories. Even when I was working in, well, I'm still working in sales. When clients tell me their stories, like, oh, I have, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 17-year-old, and he's applying to these colleges and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all going into the files. And then
Yeah.
6 months later, one random vector of conversation comes up and it's like, oh, here's
Yeah,
I've
I know
connected
that
the
guy.
dots
His
now.
kid is applying to that college too. I know. I know that's what you're like. I'm telling you, you and kid number 4 would really hit it off.
I would love to see him. I would love to just
Yeah.
come see you soon. Like,
Yeah.
I got to figure that out.
It's an open invitation.
Thank you. I mean, it's definitely easier for me to come to you.
I
I am
mean,
one person, two people if Nico comes with me, like way easier to
yeah,
mobilize than a
I
family of
am.
7.
Well, I do have to try and get to New Mexico at some point to visit my brother, which would be closer to you. So
Way closer.
maybe that
That would
would
be a
be
Nico trip.
a road trip. I wonder how far that is, road trip wise. Like,
Albuquerque?
yeah.
It's like 7 hours. I've done it before. It's great. It's
Oh,
a
that's
it's a
manageable.
great
That's like
road trip.
a little bit of a road trip, but like not like a kill yourself road trip. That's like a
No.
stop one night, see a new mountain, and then you're there the next day kind of
Yeah, and
thing.
then on the way back, and I've done this too, you can go through Monument Valley, which is so beautiful. It is like you're on
Oh.
Mars.
I'm
It's
not
stunning.
actually going on any like off-roady things that you tell me to go to, but thank you. I will take your advice on almost anything else, but like driving paths, I will look at Google Maps
Wait,
or
okay. This
Waze.
is a great this is actually a great wrap up here is so we've touched on like the spiritual kind of mystical nature of our friendship that clearly like we have past lives together. We'll say that. If you believe in that kind of thing or whatever else,
I
however else
do.
you can describe it, right?
I'll see you in the
So
next one too. Get ready
I
for it.
for
I
sure.
hope we have cool jobs. I hope we're like on like adjacent fishing ships or something like that. You know what I mean? And we're like in the marina waving to each other.
We're raising capybaras is what we're doing.
I would
That's
do it. I will see you there.
yeah.
Oh my God, what if we are the copy? I'm also open to being a manatee.
I mean, yeah, manatees are really awesome. They just float. They just chill.
They just float.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking for at this point in life.
I know. But what I was, God, what was I going to say though? Before we,
That
this is also
I'm
like,
not going on any, I'm not taking your driving
oh yeah,
directions.
okay. So you reached out to me. This is crazy, and then this is a great point to end it. You reached out to me on a random day in June and like across multiple time zones too, by the way. This is not just like, oh, we're both having like a lunchtime think, like a random little exchange. You
No, I was
text
just
me.
thinking about you a lot. Like you were just like in my brain and I was like, whatever, maybe she's awake.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready for this hike I'm gonna do. I just got laid off, and so it was a Tuesday, and Nico was with his dad. So I was like, I'm just gonna go drive west. This is what I do in Colorado. If I have a moment where I'm feeling caged or I need to go think, I just drive to the mountains and go on a hike. And this hike, ironically, was super easy. I'm talking like the trail is wide and flat, like almost reminded me of trails in Florida. Like that is how easy the actual trail
Eh,
was. It was
it doesn't
great. It
matter
was
if I was like raised in Florida. I just found out there are trails in Florida in this conversation.
So I'm like on this trail. It's a mile out, a mile back. It ends at a waterfall and a canyon, though, which is like crazy.
Sounds
Usually,
perfect. Why would you go visit any other trail?
right. This is my
If
point.
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It was my first time on this trail, and I was just remarking at how easy and beautiful it was. Anyway, as I was packing up, you text me, you're like, hey, while you're looking for a job, you need to be monetizing your TikTok, and here's how you're going to do it. And you spelled out all these different things, and the idea was actually that I was going to be posting more about recruitment content, like job hunting,
Yeah,
helping people
because
who
you
are job
know so
hunting.
much.
Yeah, I've been in the business for 13 years and but at the same time as also having this like existential crisis of like, do I even know how to find a job? Because now I don't have one. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna think on that. So I go on this hike. I'm sitting by this waterfall for an hour and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, God, if you could throw me a bone, maybe making content and podcasting and writing, like creating, maybe that can be my way of making money. Would love that. And so I leave the trailhead and on the way in there was just a dirt road. That's what I took, and it was a nothing dirt road. It was like a quarter of a mile long. It was fine. It was not a problem. But what I didn't realize until I was leaving is that there was actually a fork at the exit of this like normal trailhead, and I didn't have signal, and
How poetic.
I know, and I
God
didn't
is like,
download
I'm
my
going to
Google
put you
Maps.
in front of this fork in the road.
Oh my God. And so I put it in, I put in my address into my satellite map in my Subaru, and it took me down this road that was not the right one.
Two
It
roads
was,
diverged in a yellow wood. I took the one less traveled, right?
oh
Isn't that
man,
the
yeah.
poem?
Yes, it was the road less traveled for sure, Bryce. It was a class 4 jeeping trail, which I didn't even know what that meant until this whole thing.
I
And
still
then
don't.
it's like
I know that you were on the wrong trail and you things got pretty fakakta for
the
you.
craziest part is it was a public road. Like it is literally a public road. It, because otherwise insurance wouldn't have paid for it because they'd be like, "Oh,
Good,
you're
but also
off-roading."
like I'm not everything for the public is good. Like as long
Right.
as you're 21, you can go buy Everclear. That's
I
not the
know.
right decision either. Like,
Well, so okay, so I go down this road and it seems navigable and I'm like, "Oh, this might be a different road, but it seems fine." And then I like clear this one part and I ended up bottoming out. Like it was unexpectedly suddenly difficult and I was like, "Shoot, I don't know if I can go back over that. Hopefully it gets better." It didn't. Long story short, I post a video on TikTok, multiple videos on TikTok about this because I'm like, who cares? I'm going to take video of this so that I mean, I wasn't thinking that it would go
just
viral.
as like a sign of life.
Literally, like if anything happens and someone finds my phone, they can know how bad
Please
it
tell
was.
my son that I tried.
Or like best case scenario, I tell somebody how crazy this road was and like I have
And you can
video
prove
evidence.
it.
Yeah. And ended up literally getting 95% of the way down, went on this like hairpin cliff turn that my car almost slipped off of, but my Subaru saved it. But anyway, I wrecked my car. I needed a new transmission, a new steering column, all this stuff. And I posted this video terrified, but also kind of looking for a Hail Mary of like, how the fuck am I going to get my car out? I have no idea. Like this defies the laws of physics in my brain of what I'm capable of, but I can tell you a tow truck isn't coming to get it, you know? And I put it out there and it goes wildly viral. Like 200,000 views within like 2 days and then now it's like over half a million. And suddenly I am low key off-roading TikTok famous.
Thank God.
But it like happened on the day that you just like reached out and you're like, you need to you need to lean into content making on TikTok. And that was I didn't it wasn't on my
And
bingo
God
card
was
in
like, you
2025.
need to lean into the great outdoors.
Yeah. I didn't expect that that is how things would pop off on social media.
Whatever,
But
but they
you
did.
in your own way, you manifested it, and I appreciate
I
that.
don't know.
Thank
I
you.
don't know that I manifested anything. I think maybe the energy was like already heading towards you, and maybe I could just feel it. Maybe I was like, oh, that person who I have some soul connection with, there's an orb of energy heading her way, and I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm interested and I should just let her know.
Well, we're here now.
Yeah.
For the record, I've not monetized that experience. Subaru did at
Boo.
one point. I wrote to them and was like, "Hey, would you do a partnership?" And they actually did reply to me. They said that they have
Cool.
some campaigns in the works that I could be an interesting fit for, but that hasn't come to fruition. So,
Boo.
but it's fine. You know what? Someone somewhere is seeing that and learning something, and that's what matters.
Yeah, you definitely taught people something. And I think more than that, I think if nothing else, you prove to yourself, like, oh, I can make content that really blows up and is exciting to other people. And I think maybe just like a weird reminder that, you're heading in a direction and, you know,
Yeah, it's the right path. I agree.
who knows where the path goes, God willing, not off a cliff or, or hopefully it's not like a class 4 Jeep path. Hopefully whatever path you're on now is paved.
That's my hope. That's my hope is that it's much easier, that it's paved or at best the easy
Just
trail that
a
ends in the
little asphalt
waterfall.
would be nice.
Yeah. Um anyway, Bryce, I'm so grateful that you made the
Thank
time for
you.
me tonight to talk
That
about.
you asked me. Thank you.
Oh my God, of course. You're one of my nearest and dearest friends. I'm so grateful that we're still in each other's lives. And I yeah, it's been an honor. So hopefully we can do this more and continue
Yeah.
to riff
And
on
I'm serious
how
about
we
the kidney. My kidneys are real good.
I think my kidneys are good.
Okay, but like even if like someone you know needs a kidney, just hit me up. I'm a type A positive blood.
Oh, you're an A positive.
You're
That's quite
not? How are we
rare.
going to share kidneys?
I don't know, but we'll figure out a way to help each other.
Okay.
I'm O positive for the record. If
Oh, that's
anybody needed,
great. You know what? That makes so much sense. You would be an O positive. You're like universally appealing. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. I married an O positive too, because he's also that guy. He walks into a room and people are like, okay, let's be friends. This makes so much sense. You know
yeah.
what? I'm waiting for someone to come out with the book on like blood type, mental type, something like that. Like, fuck the blood type diet.
But like blood type for personalities. Almost
Yeah.
almost
O
like
positive will
astrology.
walk into a room. They can be friends with anyone. The
Yeah.
end. They can give you blood. They can give you a kidney. You can have their organs, whatever. They're just like, they're there for the people.
Well, that what an interesting concept anyway, too, because when you think about it, you kind of do want somebody's energy to match yours if you're giving them your blood. And it would seem that an O positive as a universal donor, if you're thinking about it from an energetic standpoint, you want them to be like diverse in their
Yeah. So I'm just
audience.
saying, good for you. And you would be an O positive. Like, it just, everything makes more sense now. You know what? Like, when you showed up from Craigslist, you should have just been like, I'm O positive.
I
And I
should
would
have
have been
led with
like,
that.
great. This is going to work.
I know. Instead, it was the olden days before we spoke in astrology and enneagrams and I don't know whatever else people use these days, and you just had to figure out how weird I was on your own.
Yeah.
You just had
I
to
feel
get
like this.
curious yourself and make your judgments from there.
I think I'm gonna make a TikTok about this tonight that like I only want O positive people in my life, and that's like a fucked up thing to say as an A positive, but like
Meh.
I have enough of me. I'm looking for more of you.
Well, I'm very grateful for you being and your A positive personality.
Thank you.
I love you so much. I
Love you.
thank you again for being here, taking the time after your busy day, sending so much love to you and your family. And I hope to see you soon in real life.
Yeah. Thank you again, Danielle.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for joining me for this intimate conversation on Not Like the Others. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to continue the conversation, feel free to find me on Instagram at Not Like the Others Pod. Until next time, come find yourself in every story.